uh, happy to have you. So today we are having a session of them, like who is so. So before we take further, so hi from the side of whole Zubi.
Hey there, everyone. Sorry, I had to restart my Google.
Zubi is a 21st century leap into a journey of emerging technologies like blockchain anymore, right? So we are creating India's largest emerging tech ecosystem with the aim to lead the country in the immerse tech revolution, as well as we are building India's largest immerse tech community, where we are having a huge community base to where we are helping them. We are having two amazing speakers with us. We have in working with the and another person we are having Wilson, right? Wilson is a co-founder of the 6 years with and giving. So that's all about today, and we are going to talk about the blockchain Stack 2.0 Hackathon series, right? Where Joseph will talk about that particular thing. So now hand over to Wilson and Joseph. It's your audience now. Please go ahead and take the session. We are looking forward to have you. Uh, we are looking.
Awesome. Thanks for the intro, Yash. Yeah, happy to be here with Wilson, talk a little bit about Blockstack. If you guys want to let me know in the chat if my voice is breaking up like Yash's was, or if you can hear me okay.
Yes, I could hear you well.
Perfect.
Good.
We'll dive right in then. Let me share my screen of a deck I got, even though I think I'm sharing now, but I'm going to change to share entire screen just to make it easier. There we are. We can dive right on in. I only have one monitor. Wilson, can you let me know in my ear if you can see this deck?
Yes, I could hear. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Wilson. Hey there, everyone. My name is Joseph Bender, and I am a developer evangelist at Blockstack, and I am here today to talk about all things Blockstack, Stacks 2.0 blockchain, the Clarity smart contract programming language, and the Stacks Hackathon series that we're running right now to kind of just generate a bunch of excitement and developer activity around our protocol. Like I said, I'm Joe Bender. Wow, this deck's a little outdated. I think I'm close to 5 months at Blockstack now. Time flies. And I am totally focused on empowering the community to build developer tools and useful DApps on the platform. And my favorite quarantine activity was definitely browsing Bitcoin memes. Some really good ones coming out of this little run we got going on. Like I said, I'm going to talk about a couple different of our offerings today. Blockstack, if you might not have heard of us, we're an open source effort to develop software that just allows the public to migrate away from centralized, kind of siloed servers that corporations maintain to open public infrastructure like blockchain, like decentralized networks. And we just kind of want to build the tools and the arsenal that allows developers to participate in these protocols and blockchain networks. And then subsequently giving digital rights and privacy and security to the end user at the end of the line. Stacks 2.0, it's a really exciting time at Blockstack because we're old geezers in blockchain years, you know, being around 5 or 6 years in the blockchain space. Our CEO and founder, Munib Ali, founded Blockstack way back in the day and took a long time to eventually realize this Stacks 2.0 mainnet that we'll be launching later this year. Currently, we're in the testnet phase, the Argon testnet phase. Got a little periodic element up there for you. And it's all a realization of a goal. We believe Web3 will be anchored in Bitcoin. I think the crypto space, there's a lot of uncertainties. It's people call it the wild, wild west. But if one thing is for sure, it's that Bitcoin is here to stay, and Bitcoin is king of the hill right now. Unprecedented market cap, unparalleled security. It's the only crypto that's truly a household name, that's in Silicon Valley on HBO and all that stuff. So we want to double down on that belief and offer a way to extend the security and just name recognition of Bitcoin. Stacks 2.0 kind of represents a blueprint by which Web3 can emerge and scale on the Bitcoin blockchain. It's designed with security, scalability, speed in mind. Those are kind of the big three trilemma corners of the triangle there, and we think we've got a good compromise that addresses all three of them. And it introduces three novel concepts on the side: stacking, clarity, and proof of transfer. Proof of transfer is the mining mechanism that runs it all. It's the consensus algorithm that allows Stacks 2.0 mainnet to go. And instead of in proof of work, where you're expending electricity or computing power to compete to solve a certain encrypted puzzle, which can be extremely energy consuming. There's a new statistic every day that's like, Bitcoin is equaling the electricity consumption of this country. It's some random tiny country in the middle of nowhere. And I think that that's a necessary electricity burn, but it doesn't need to be done twice. If you want to have a more expressive blockchain with the programming language, you don't need to spin up a new proof of work blockchain, because there's already a sterling example of a proof of work blockchain that you can extend on. So proof of transfer, instead of in Stacks 1.0, where proof of burn, you are burning Bitcoin to compete to mine blocks. In proof of transfer, you're sending Bitcoin to a certain address. And the more Bitcoin you send, the higher chance you have of leading that round of blocks. And that is where stacking comes in. Where does the Bitcoin go that is transferred? It goes to stackers. And stackers are people that are locking up Stacks tokens and also helping to uphold the security of the network by just having more value in the network. So miners and stackers and the Bitcoin blockchain are just interacting in this interesting way that is extending the security of Bitcoin to the Stacks blockchain. Like I said, mainnet launch sometimes Q4, but we don't like to launch until it's ready and 100% bug squashed and audited by the community. So, smart contracts. What are they? What can they do? What makes them so smart? They're just computer programs that exist on the blockchain and encode and enforce the rules for using data on the blockchain. They exist on the blockchain. The blockchain is their home. It's kind of hard to grasp that you deploy the contract onto the blockchain and that is where it lives, and anyone can access it or access its methods or view its code. It can result in new transactions, and you also execute them by sending a transaction. Transactions are kind of like the lowest common denominator in blockchain. You do so many things by sending a transaction and triggering new ones, and it can be like a chain effect of sorts. Apps on the blockchain can manage like the global state, and blockchains are state machines. They move from state to state to state as transactions are committed to the blockchain. Anyone can audit blockchains and audit the smart contracts on them to independently verify this global state of the app. Now, that's a lot of words. What do smart contracts actually do? more like what don't they do? You can do access control, the ability to log into a platform. Non-fungible tokens and fungible tokens have been huge the last couple years. NFTs and digital collectibles. ERC 721 over on the Ethereum blockchain was a big moment in establishing a standard for digital collectibles. And it's funny, 10 years ago, people weren't sure digital collectibles were going to take off. Would they be viable? Do people actually value something that you can't hold in your hands? And then we saw, I don't know how many billions and billions of dollars Fortnite is making lately from just little emotes or Overwatch loot boxes. I think it's been proven the last couple years that consumers are willing to pay real life value for things that only exist in the digital world. And I think it's because so much of life is migrating to the digital world lately that we're more comfortable with cherishing digital collectibles or appreciating a digital work of art just as much as we would in the real world. Um, Business model templates is huge. I know that blockchain champions open source and decentralization and everything, but you still got to make money. So a lot of blockchain companies are brainstorming ways to create profit while also not taking advantage of the user. And subscriptions is a great example of that. You could have a smart contract that's deducting a certain fee, a subscription for a service or a magazine or a piece of software on a time cadence and could be canceled at any time by sending a particular transaction. And I think that's a curious way to offer decentralized services, but also make some profit. App-specific blockchains, you could spin up a blockchain just for a certain application ecosystem. We ran an app mining pilot last year and saw over 400 applications built using Stacks 1.0 and DAOs. People love DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, pretty much corporations that don't have any humans in it and can accept funds from a lot of different locations and then disperse them based on a certain set of criteria. Those use cases just should illustrate how the ability to put certain business logic into a smart contract that runs autonomously in the blockchain enables so many things that remove intermediaries or lawyers or a bank or someone to escrow funds or a notary. Just so many slow intermediary steps in the legal system or the financial system can be removed by using smart contracts. Clarity programming language. Also, I only have one screen, so if you have any questions, throw them in the YouTube chat, and I will check that after I close out the deck and try to circle back and answer any questions. Also, how are we doing on time? 8:13. Time to find your clarity, people. So excited about this. Just launched a couple months ago is our smart contract programming language for the Stacks 2.0 blockchain. Right now, like I said, we're in testnet of the Stacks 2.0 blockchain. So there's been so much amazing tinkering and experimentation. We've been doing a bunch of hackathons, so many cool smart contracts and developer tools or just user widgets, ways to interact with Blockstack have popped up over the last few weeks. And like I said, Blockstack has been around for so long and has that advantage of being able to observe the industry and seeing what works and seeing what people struggle with. And there's been a lot of smart contract languages out there. Solidity is extremely popular from Ethereum, and Tezos is less popular but has app functionality. And we think we took the best of all worlds when it comes to clarity. It's interpreted, which means it's human readable and audible. What you see is what you get. WYSIWYG, you might have heard. And I think that is super critical for a decentralized network, to have anybody be able to read through code, step through it line by line, and understand what it's doing. That's huge for transparency for a project and I think just makes your users kind of trust you a bit more. And it's decidable, so you can determine precisely what the code is going to do when it's executed for any function. The fact that Solidity is Turing complete means that when the blockchain goes to run the code, it may not know what lies at the end of every flowchart, at the end of every tributary. You know, if it hits this statement, it could go this way, it could go this way. It's kind of blinded to what the eventual gas costs will be, or computational load. In Clarity, you know, beginning to end, what it's going to do, and it is not Turing complete, which offers a lot of advantages. You know, you don't have to worry about block gas limits or your contract out of gas exception and all that somewhat frustrating stuff in a development process on Solidity. So by bringing expressive smart contracts to the Stacks 2.0 blockchain, and just the way proof of transfer plays with Bitcoin and Stacks in interesting ways, it's kind of bringing that fully expressive smart contract ability to the Bitcoin ecosystem. It's a strong static type language. It's Lisp based, and we did that because there's a lot of affection for Lisp out in the world. It's been around forever. It's tried and true, and we wanted to kind of leverage that pre-existing community already. It's composed of two parts: a data space and a set of functions. Pretty simple to understand that every smart contract just has its own little handbag with it, a little data space that it can store anything it wants in, any data, and users call that smart contract and its associated data space by sending a transaction. Like I said, things are triggered with transactions in blockchain land. And function arguments required, and database schemas require specific types, and those types are checked during the contract launch. Just some extra cherry on top for developers there. So a lot of like issues in blockchain world, some of the hot button topics and historical events kind of are impossible in Clarity. Like the 0x exchange breaking down at one point was an assembly error. That's impossible in Clarity. The DAO hack, a big reentrancy bug, not possible in Clarity. The parity multisig hack, where you have a wallet that's able to be accessed by multiple people. That's kind of an attack vector there. Not possible in Clarity. And you see some more down there with just the out of gas and compilation issues that arise in Solidity are not possible in Clarity due to it not being Turing complete. All right, let's get into some code, shall we? Don't worry, super easy code. This is literally just a counter program in Clarity. It can increment a value and it can decrement a value. Not rocket science, but an important demonstration of just the simplicity and beauty of Clarity. I'm gonna tear through this stuff real fast. Too early to be looking at code. At the top, you're defining your variable. Super simple. Set it to 0. You define a public function get counter, which is gonna pull that number. And begin, you can see, kind of begins the evaluation of those multi-line expressions. We like test-driven development at Blockstack because we believe you should always be testing your stuff. So what could you even test in this? You could test if it's a valid contract, if it could be deployed to the blockchain. It should probably start at 0. And since it's a counter program, it should probably be able to count up. And then let's make it be able to count back down too. As you can see here, it's giving a provider. A provider is just like a special type in Clarity that's signifying a certain entity or like a contract or wallet. And it's telling you where to find counter.clar right there. And that means it would pass the first test and be successfully deployed. And then these are the more tangible tests that are actually testing what the code is doing. The first one checks if it's 0 by pulling it and seeing if it's equal to 0. The second test calls that increment method twice and then checks to see if the value is now 2 instead of 0, because if you call the increment method twice, it should increment to 1 and then it should increment up to 2. And then the decrement method brings it all the way back down to 0. And as you can assume, these tests would probably pass. This is a pretty simple simple program that is just adding and subtracting. To get a little more complicated, this is a tip calculator that was submitted in our first hackathon in May. Let's walk through this. You're defining the meal cost, the tip, and the rating. The rating is a cool part of this contract that I really like. So you are setting the meal cost, depending on if you spent a little amount of money, maybe you went out to eat by yourself, or if you went out on a fancy date and shelled out to get the steak. You're defining the public meal cost, you're getting the tip, and then at the end, that is when the rating comes in. If you rated it greater than 3, that means you're very satisfied, you want to leave a larger tip, and the tip would be 20%. But let's say you were dissatisfied, the service was really slow, the food wasn't so hot, then you want to give a minimum of 15%. And all the magic is happening down here in the bottom right, where all of the like business logic is. You're getting your meal cost, and then you're getting the rating. If the rating was good, you multiply the meal cost by 20 and then add it onto the total. If the meal wasn't so hot, then multiply the total meal cost by 15% and then add it onto the total. Super simple program that could be used in everyday life. We're all tearing out our phones to calculate the tip at the end of a meal. Yeah, and I like that this smart contract is also worried about social activism and wanting to support restaurant workers. So they really want you to be tipping 20% at restaurants. This is another program. However, let me see what we can do here. I'm gonna open this in a new tab. I think you guys should be able to see this. This was the winner from our first hackathon. If you guys are familiar with Ethereum, it's basically Uniswap, a trustless decentralized token exchange, but built on Clarity. Super important smart contract, not just for its functionality, but kind of what it stands for, as a lot of crypto is dominated by centralized exchanges. Binance, Gemini, Coinbase, these big exchanges, while making it easy to buy crypto, and sometimes will like escrow it for you and just give you a nice little mobile app. It's important to have decentralized ways to get cryptocurrency, because then that keeps the ethos of the technology alive. If you can only get crypto from these centralized exchanges, that defeats the whole purpose of crypto. So a decentralized exchange allowing people to swap tokens directly between themselves with no intermediary is absolutely integral to have like in your decentralized arsenal there. And Swapper is just a trustless token exchange where using Clarity, you can transfer different amounts of stacks between each other, and was just a super substantial contract. I think I just wanted to show you guys this to see like what is the meatiest, most substantial, powerful Clarity contract you could do. And Uniswap on Clarity is it. You can see great commented code here telling you everything that's going on. Get the current address and use to collect a fee. Clear the contract fee address. Really well written, indented perfectly. Exchange whatever dy for known dx based on liquidity, returns dx dy, obviously. Very substantial contract, and we were happy to see this come out and hoping to see some more stuff like this in the next hackathon. We're gonna go back over here. Don't start from the beginning. One second. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna move on and talk a little bit about this hackathon series we're doing right now. In the testnet phase, it is so important to just encourage as much kicking the tires of your technology as you possibly can. It takes a village to raise a blockchain. If we are just unidirectionally handing everything out as Blockstack, that is not going to be successful at all. And we've seen hordes of blockchain projects fail because of just that. They think they can just kind of internally audit their technology and then deal it out as an end product to the consumer. And we truly believe the community and any entity such as Blockstack have to work in unison to promote the technology. And Clarity Hack is an attempt to do that. Running from July 29th to August 14th. It is the first hackathon in our Stacks 2.0 hackathon series. Literally from now until mainnet, we're going to be cranking out hackathons, just seeing what cool stuff the community can build, stir up some excitement about features that roll out. Every phase of the testnet has brought new features. It started with just the node and then got mining and then launched the Blockchain Explorer, and proof of transfer will be implemented in one of these testnet phases. The hackathon is open now. It started on July 29th, so the gates are open and it goes until August 19th. What do we got? It's August 10th. You got 9 more days to build some smart contracts. Ends at 11:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And be sure to get it in before the deadline and try to submit before that so you don't get caught up at the end with some browser issues or whatnot. It's hosted on DevPost. DevPost is one of the industry standard platforms for running hackathons. Super simple and straightforward, really easy to interact with and submit your project. Over 5,000 doll hairs in prizes. So many prizes up for grabs this time, whereas some of our hackathons in the past have just had like 3 prizes for the podium. This one has a lot of prizes on a ranked scale, all the way down to 25th place is still getting $50. And there's also some special bounties for contracts that we really want to see built. This is the list of desired smart contracts. We really wanted to take a holistic approach to getting smart contracts built on Blockstack. You know, people love building the popular smart contracts such as escrow or a DAO or a legal agreement. So after our last hackathons, we just did an appraisal of every smart contract that had been built in Clarity, and we made a list of ones that had not been built yet. And we kind of want to go on a smart contract safari of sorts, and go out there and get the ones built that haven't been built yet, because it's almost like opening an amusement park. You know, you want to build all the rides and get all the concession stands set up and pave all the walkways. So then when you open the gates and your customers finally walk in, it's an amazing experience. When we eventually launch mainnet, we want there to just be a fleet of boilerplate smart contracts and example repositories and just code snippets and developer tools, just so many things that make it easier to build on Blockstack. And smart contracts are the building blocks of blockchains. So we just want there to be a library, a bookshelf of smart contracts, where if a developer says, oh, I need an escrow contract, oh, there was one already built. I need a legal agreement. Oh, there was one already built. And just have GitHub be a thriving Blockstack ecosystem with bursting at the seams with Clarity contracts. We actually just lost Gordon Ramsay and Simon Cowell for judging. I'm so sorry, they had to cancel last minute. Simon Cowell had an e-bike injury and hurt his back. But this is the judging criteria. It's super straightforward if you've ever done a hackathon before. And design, is the smart contract well structured and broken into logical functions? You know, we don't want to see every line of code in its own method or every line of code in one method. It should be broken into logical parts and functions and variable declaration. and be a clean smart contract. Functionality, how powerful is it? What can it do? You know, we had one smart contract in the first hackathon that was called Say Yo, and it was just like system out yo, which I commend your attempt at using clarity and messing around with the language, but we want to see smart contracts do a little bit more than just print out strings. So if you, like I showed you Swapper, that was just a behemoth smart contract that's doing so many different things, so many moving parts. That is like the pinnacle of power and robustness. Use of clarity reference. Clarity is what it's all about here. Not only are we trying to get cool contracts built, but we're trying to stress test the language, you know, and see its limits, see its potential, see what it can do, what it can't do. So definitely interested in how much you're using clarity. Originality and creativity. This one is a great, my favorite judging category, because I think it incentivizes people to create novel smart contracts that haven't really been done before. You know, everyone knows an escrow smart contract or a coin flip smart contract. We want to see you think outside of the box. One of my favorite smart contracts from our last hackathon was a redistribution smart contract, which was kind of referencing the United States stimulus check. Due to the economic downturn in America, every U.S. citizen got, what was it, $1,200 or something. But you know, it didn't matter if you were sleeping on the street or comfortably in a mansion in Beverly Hills, you still got $1,200. So someone made a redistribution contract that people could pool stimulus funds, and then it would be redistributed to people most in need and the most disenfranchised people in our country, who would have the most economic impact from having that money. So I thought that was a maybe not a totally novel concept, but an interesting application to like a relevant current event. Real world viability is another like category that that last example kind of touches on. How applicable is the smart contract? Is it actually going to be used? Would it be relevant, or is it just more of a compartmentalized use test demo of just a certain functionality? Documentation and commenting is everyone's favorite category. We want to see code well documented. The Swapper contract had such good commenting through that even though it was hundreds and hundreds of lines of code, you could still kind of work through it and see the train of thought and what the mechanism behind the smart contract is doing. And documentation is really important. We like having little readmes or overviews that just help anyone or non-technical people understand what's going on. The Swapper contract even had an entire like API included of like all the things you could do with it. This is the prizing for a hackathon. Like I said, there's a lot more prizes this time. We used to have like 3 or 5 or 10. We have 25 prizes this time, and also giving out bonuses for desired contract. We were going to give out $500 for 2 bonuses, but I think that has since been changed. Apologies for the slide. Now there's going to be 10 prizes of $100. We thought that was a lot more applicable to get a wider range of smart contracts. So if you bounty hunt one of these smart contracts, the desired smart contracts, there's a chance to win 100 extra doll hairs. How can you get involved? Like I said, we are on DevPost this time. I'm really excited about DevPost. It's stupid simple. It is so efficient to work through. Click through the tabs, and our listing is really straightforward, and it's really easy to submit. So definitely check out the clarityhack.devpost. And there's a bunch of other resources here for you, overflowing. Oh my gosh, the forum, the Discord, our GitHub has a lot of great repos that have community resources that have been spun up. And then you can check out community.blockstack in general just to see all the happenings. We got a calendar there, and meetup groups, AMAs all the time, town halls, and the occasional DJ hacking study hall of sorts. For one of our hackathons, we had a fun little sit on Zoom with a DJ and hack away. This is what the dev post listing looks like. Like I said, super straightforward, big green button, start your submission. There's a link there to join the Discord. Also tells you how long the deadline is. The deadline in this screenshot is old. It has been extended to August 19th. And wow, this screenshot was taken when we had 53 participants. I think we're almost to 150 participants. We're getting close, and we really want to get to 150. A resources tab that has a lot of the documentation for clarity, or YouTube demos, or some of the submissions from our previous hackathons. And then discussions is like a forum that you can post questions for other hackers, or for any block stackers. And the rules are also there that are the long, boring definition of the exact rules of the competition. This is the Blockstack Discord. It is my favorite place in the world. Waking up in the morning, getting a cup of coffee, and sitting down and looking at all the excitement in the Discord. Also, Blockstack itself has transitioned to Discord, so all of the Blockstack employees are up in there ready to answer your questions or just have a fun conversation and talk about blockchain. And there is a dedicated #hackathons channel, which is where all the conversation around the hackathons has been going on. I love the screenshot because it's a perfect example of two of our greatest community members, Harini and Frieger, kind of troubleshooting something back and forth. Frieger's giving her code snippets. Make sure you're calling it with hyphen testnet, and then at the end she does figure out her problem and thanks Frieger for his help. And that should just demonstrate there is such an awesome culture of collaboration in our Discord, where and even during hackathons, no one's trying to stay like cards to the chest so they can win the hackathon. Everyone is always down to help you out, or pair program, or sit in a lot of people have been sitting in the Discord voice channels lately, so you could pop in there and ask someone a question with your microphone and get a more personalized answer than a big block of text. This is the Blockstack forum. If you were live in the early 2000s, late 90s, then you love forums just as much as I do. The world's kind of gravitated away from forums a bit. But this is a perfect spot to ask longer form questions, maybe type out a long example and have people think on it for a day or two and then come back with an informed response, instead of where Discord might be quicker, back and forth asynchronous messaging. A lot of great posts on the forum, and really good for keeping a historical record. If you want to search the forum for any issues people have had in the past, or ideas, etc. Oh my gosh, that's all I think I got for you this morning. Just really excited to be talking to the Zubi community, and Blockstack is really putting a priority in getting out into different international communities. We've got Zan over in Hong Kong. We've got a lot of people in Amsterdam. We really want to branch out, get into different countries and international communities over the next couple of years. And I'm very thankful that you guys had me to speak this morning. I think I'm going to send it over to Wilson. Wilson is from Block Survey. I'll have him give a more in-depth explanation, but I'll say why it's important that he's here, because he is one of the people building on Blockstack, one of the apps that have come out of Blockstack land and been used and gained traction. I love Block Survey. We use it a lot at Blockstack for doing surveys with the community. So really happy to have him here. Voice clear. I don't think there was any questions for
Yes.
me. I'll go check on the YouTube, but I'm going to hand it off to Wilson for a little while.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Let me present my screen.
Yeah, I'm going to hop out of the whole thing. Thanks so much for having me, everyone. It's been a pleasure.
Just a moment, I'm presenting my screen. You should be all set now. Hello, everyone. My name is Wilson, maker of Block Survey. Here, I wanted to walk you through the journey, what we have gone through for the last 12 months. And similarly, how we today you have a hackathon which is open from Blockstack. Exactly a year ago, we had a similar hackathon. It's called as Can't Be Evil from Blockstack. And we participated in that hackathon. And the rest is history. I wanted to share my journey with Blockstack, how we started our journey from a simple hackathon and what we are today. So we went to this hackathon with a big question. We wanted to build something on top of blockchain. We wanted to build under the theme called as Web 3.0 or Society 3.0, which primarily means how you can give the ownership of the internet back to the people. So the big question is we were evaluating ideas and we created surveys. We were asking set of questions to friends, family, and colleagues. We circulated it, and to our realization, we knew that our data is not with us. So the question is, do you really own your ideas? That's when the entire journey of block survey started. So in that hackathon, we decided if you're researching on your idea, if you're gathering insights or ideas from people, is are those ideas secure or not? Are those ideas owned by us? That's the question. So that led us to create a safe and private data collection platform, and that is called as Block Survey. And exactly after the hackathon, in the month of July, after 10 days of building it, we launched it in Product Hunt. And we got about 200 odd votes. We got comments from people. They liked it. They felt the need for it. And they really supported us. And we went ahead and built it further. Now, fast forward few months later, uh, there was this program called as app mining in Blockstack, and we were rewarded $8K from Blockstack. And that little seed fund helped us to build further. So, and exactly after 12 months, it is that small seed fund that led us to grow further. So that's my team. We are a team of five now. That's the early founding team. So 12 months later, we have a block survey, and this is our growth. So today we have about 500 plus customers who are using block survey, right from Blockstack, Internet Freedom Foundation is one, and we also have Ethereum Planet using block survey. And this is a small team. So in Feb of this year, we officially registered our firm in India, and we are working. And that's the office space. That's where we gather. That's five of us working on block survey day in and day out. So that's block survey for you. So what I wanted to tell you is, it's exactly a simple hackathon. We went for a 10-day hackathon. We worked on it, and we submitted in dev post to Blockstack, and we got that little fund. And we used that to grow further. And whatever is Block Survey today is because of that one simple hackathon. And today we have a product out. We are serving customers, and all that focused on Web3 and Society 3.0. And I wanted to share it. If you are a student, if you wanted to try our product, feel free to try it. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And happy to help. And if you're a student, do check out blocksurvey.io/student. You can apply and get a free plan for Blocksurvey. And that's me, Wilson, one of the co-founders of Blocksurvey. And you can follow me on Twitter. Happy to help and happy to share more information. If you need any help on working on Blockstack, anything to do with development, we are here in India to help you out. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Wilson, and thanks, Joe, for this amazing session. And I hope you guys found it useful. And I'll recommend you that you can check out Clarity Hack. I've shared the link in the comments, and feel free to check it out and participate in it. And I think Wilson shared an amazing journey of his, wherein he started just with a hackathon and built his own startup as Block Survey. So thanks a lot, guys. If you liked the session, so feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you are not yet on our Telegram community, then join us now. You can find all the relevant links in the description of the video. So that was all for today. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye. See you soon.